Well, it seems like it's time for another Dave and Darren's Top 5 Things podcast, a review of what we got done on our morning show, which you can be heard over on Planet 93.9, Quad City's real alternative radio. My name is Dave. Here's Darren. Hey, Darren.
Hello, it's time again, yes. The podcast brought to you by Nature's Treatment of Illinois. They've got two locations. They have one on Tech Drive in Milan and also West Main Street in Galesburg. Milan's opened every day. Galesburg is open weekdays and Saturdays. The Milan store offers both medicinal and recreational. Galesburg is recreational only, and Nature's Treatment offers a wide selection of products for recreational use, including flower vapes and edibles.
Here we go. Here's number one.
Number one.
It is June 1st.
Rabbit.
The first thing I said when I woke up this morning. Summer is upon us, and I'm reminded of I thought, a rather engaging public service announcement that came out back in the 70s. And it went a little something like this. There is fun in the water,
Yeah,
but there's danger too.
that's right.
Stay close to others so you'll know what to do.
That's exactly right.
Only one cavity, only one tooth.
Well, you're mixing up a few things, but
Am I?
but you're right. It is summer swim season.
And if you're listening to us on the app down in Louisiana, the Department of Wildlife and Fisheries says, do not freak out about the piranha that they found in the lake down there.
It was just one piranha.
They say you should definitely use caution, but they forbid anybody to freak out. It's according to this press release. They found a piranha.
What does that mean? Swim with caution.
I don't know.
Does that mean swim with your mouth? Don't swim with your mouth open?
How does... It is illegal to have piranha or to sell them, and you cannot have them as a pet anywhere in Louisiana.
Huh.
Yeah.
I would think if you could have them anywhere, it would be Louisiana.
Yeah, you would think. Now, you can have piranha here in Iowa, right? Back in the day, I used to have a pacu, which is like a piranha, but it's not quite a piranha.
Oh, look at you.
Well, that was back in, that's
Mr. Bond.
That's a long time ago, yeah.
Did
yeah.
you call him Pacu?
I didn't name them. I don't think I gave them names. I don't remember having names for my pacu.
A piranha with no name. Huh.
A lone red piranha was found in a lake near Louisiana State University in Baton Rouge. And officials think that it was a pet that someone released. Don't do that. If you have a piranha, don't release them into the wild. Can't believe that's something you have to say out loud. If you were to do it here, at least it would die in the wintertime, you would think, right? I don't think piranhas they're used to much warmer temperatures. The Louisiana Department of Wildlife and Fisheries now checking carefully to see if there are any more piranhas. And they say if you've caught a piranha in the lake, please let them know.
That was a more popular thing in the movies anyway that you could fall prey to.
Yeah.
Back in the 70s.
Right.
60s and 70s is you're going to get stripped by a school of piranhas.
See, I remember distinctly my first fear of piranhas came about from a Speed Racer cartoon where the drivers would drive into the Amazon River and then they would come out and it would just be bones left behind the wheel of the car.
Which isn't quite as gruesome,
No.
being that it's an animated cartoon, but
It was pretty bad, though. Wasn't great.
it sends a message.
They also want you to know that while piranhas are terrifying to look at, and, the movies certainly make them seem like they're little crazy shark fish, piranhas mainly scavenge for dead or dying prey.
That would make sense.
Not full-size humans.
Typically.
This idea of, the cow falls into the Amazon River and comes up as just bones, that's just the movies. That's not real life.
It doesn't mean they wouldn't bite your crotch.
Yeah. Well, but I don't know that they go right for the crotch. It's not the best.
I know I would. If I was a piranha and I'm trying to bring someone down, first thing I need to do is get them to bend over. lose their equilibrium. And then you're mine, fella. Get a couple of my buddies.
Look pretty sweet on a wall.
Yeah, you'd look pretty sweet on a wall there, kid.
Did they ever do like a Billy Big Mouth Bass but a piranha version? That would be kind of cool to see. Mm-hmm. Like if it had teeth, you know? Because the Billy Big Mouth Bass is just sort of delightful. But what if you added a layer of horror to it? I don't know that that's the worst idea.
Yeah, a little danger.
Pedro, the singing piranha. What?
Pacu.
Or Pacu. What is the difference between a Pacu and a piranha? Because you could have a Pacu. I don't know that you can have piranhas. Okay, I'm Googling it here, and people are saying Pacu versus piranha in a fight. Who would win? Pacu is mainly an herbivore, meaning plants, whereas the piranha is an omnivore, meaning it'll eat everything. Although I will say this, when I would put little feeder fish with the Pacu, they would eat the hell out of them. So I don't know what they're talking about.
And you did that for entertainment?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. They had
You're like a Bond villain.
It says the Pacu here have short, blunt, and human-like teeth, whereas the piranha's teeth are small, triangular, and razor sharp. The Pacu feeds on aquatic vegetation and fruits and seeds that fall into the water. No, that was not I wasn't feeding it seeds. I can promise you that.
Like apple seeds?
That's what you're supposed to. Pacu is an herbivore in freshwater, native to northern South America, whereas a piranha is all over the place in South America. And a Pacu can grow up to 50 pounds, whereas a piranha will only grow to about 7.5 pounds. They're killing machines, I tells you. I like that. The idea of a...
Very popular in the Amazon.
Yeah. Doesn't the Amazon also have like a fish, though, that just swims up your pee hole? Isn't that a thing you got to watch out for? If you go swimming in the Amazon? Like if you're a guy, there's a fish that will like make its way up there. And that's not good. Huh. That's the last thing anybody needs. That'll ruin my trip.
That is quite a evolutionary tale.
Number two.
This news is blowing people away, but I think anyone who's seen the movie Airplane is aware of this. The rule is that if you're flying a plane, the captain and your first officer not allowed to eat the same meal. It's part of a safety precaution. That's something that is a real thing. They can't have the same thing for dinner.
Well, you can. It just has to be made by different people.
No.
We both went to Salisbury Steak.
So we went to different restaurants?
So I went to Banquet. He went to Stouffer's.
Every flight crew made up of two pilots, a captain and his first officer, or their first officer. But it turns out that while crew all enjoy the same mid-flight meal on their shift, the two pilots are not allowed to order the same meal as one another.
What if both meals are bad?
Well, yeah, if the meals are coming from the same place, then you could...
And both meals, okay, so
right.
you got two meals here, all right?
Yeah, and they were both prepared by somebody super sick that was coughing on the food.
Well, not even that, but if it's something like there's something wrong with the lettuce.
Yeah.
Okay, so you had
right.
You had the Cobb salad,
Right.
I had the tacos.
Right.
But the trouble was the lettuce.
To ensure that the meal is, if the meal is contaminated, the captain or first officer gets sick after eating it, the flight deck has a different meal. The flight deck, whoever's left, should be able to operate the aircraft.
Although tacos sounds kind of like a bit of a messy meal to have up in the cockpit.
You
right?
shouldn't be eating in the cockpit.
Or even a salad.
I would imagine you have to eat things that are very different. Like, I'll get pasta, you can have fried chicken. You'd have to eat things.
Fried chicken in the cockpit?
Why not?
It just seems to me like...
Oh, you'd eat it.
Oh, I'm not saying I wouldn't. I'm just saying I don't know if it's a good idea. You get all the controls all greasy. Wouldn't you think that if
there's just bones up in the instruments.
You've got bones, and you're really going to have a big plate of spaghetti while you're in the cockpit? Doesn't it make more sense? I understand. I understand you eat what you want. You're a pilot, but in the cockpit, we're going to kind of ask you to keep it to like maybe just a very simple sandwich.
Well, they should be eating before they do their work.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know they should be eating in the cockpit.
And I don't know that it should be a big plate of fried chicken and spaghetti.
I think they eat before they get there.
And then maybe just have a few snacks to get them through, an energy bar or
I'm guessing.
a banana
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah, some
Just
goldfish crackers to take the edge off.
Just a little something.
Right, that would...
As opposed to paella,
Just up there eating.
a big plate of lo mein. You're king crab. You're
That's right. Give me more drawn butter. All of it. All of it.
Number 3.
3.
Chinese fella is browsing the internet for videos when he comes upon a recent video of his wife getting married to another dude in a nearby town. Yin Cheng, 35 years old. When you're 35 years old in China and you're not married, the term for that is that you are an elderly youth.
elderly. Yeah, okay.
Elderly
Youth.
youth. 35 and unmarried.
But was married.
Well, he did get married because his family was pushing him to find a wife. This is in Inner Mongolia. And Yin is an elderly youth, 35, never been married. Family decides, we got to get you a woman, Leroy.
Yeah, okay.
Which it's not easy to find a wife at that age in China. So this guy goes to a matchmaker. The matchmaker introduces him to this woman who had already been married before. But that didn't bother Yin.
Yeah.
He talked to this woman, Nana, over the video phone a couple of times. He asked her to come out to his village so they could meet in person. And he sent her 1,000 yuan as a sign of good faith. Yuan is the money that they use in China. Turns out this whole thing was an elaborate scam. When his dad met the woman Nana for the first time, he wanted to meet her parents as soon as possible. That's when the matchmaker shows up and says, whoa. There's a viaduct being built in the woman's home village, and the family's very busy constructing the viaduct.
Yes, the viaduct.
They don't have time
you
to
know.
come and meet you. And she also said the construction company was compensating families based on how many members they had. So the family would lose out if she got legally married before a contract was signed. See, they're building a viaduct, and we'll give you money based on how many people you have in your home. So if we say that she's married to Yin, that family's going to lose out.
Gonna lose out
so
on
we
her.
can kind of play the game here, and that family can make some money, and then you can get married and everybody wins. The man's family agreed to only have the traditional wedding ceremony and make the union official once the business with this viaduct was completed. Well, they got married in January.
So they're standing firm.
Yeah, they ended up getting married in January.
Okay.
And this woman gets a dowry of 148,000 yuan, which works out to a little bit more than 23 grand in American.
And she got that from who?
From the family. That's how dowries work.
From his family.
Yes, right. She gets jewelry, she gets cash, she gets other wedding gifts. 3 days into the marriage, she says, you know what? I got to go home to be with my family.
Yeah, okay, I'm out of here. I'm back to the viaduct.
She
It's a brand new viaduct,
I
everyone.
can't leave that.
I mean, come on.
She comes back about a week later, and then 2 days later, she says, I got to go help my mom. I got to go back. And things kept going like this for a while.
Yeah.
And Yin didn't suspect anything. He figures, well, she's homesick, and
Yeah.
she's really close to her family.
We've
and,
just met.
And there is the new viaduct in her town.
Yeah,
It's hard to pull someone away from that.
It's a real showstopper.
But then things started smelling fishy when his wife stopped taking his calls and was spending a lot more time
Stop calling me.
away from home. And then in March, he's browsing his favorite video app when he stumbles across a short clip of a wedding from a nearby town.
Yes.
And he thought, boy, that bride looks just like my wife. And then he keeps watching it and he realizes, wait, that is my wife.
That is-
And now she's not answering his calls. So he goes
Well,
to this nearby town to confront the man
What gives?
that his wife married and to get to the bottom of things. And he tracks down his rival here, this other fellow that married his wife. And obviously the other guy's like, wait, what are you talking about?
You can't do that. I'm already married.
Right. So then the two of them decide to call the cops. And it turns out that the matchmaker and the bride were part of a large scammer network that was taking advantage of men that were desperate to find wives. And they specialized in convincing the victims to only hold the traditional marriage ceremony and pay the dowry while postponing the signing of the paperwork. Cops have arrested a total of 5 people who have been involved now in 19 marriage fraud cases, doing damages of around 2 million yuan, which works out to about 315,000 American dollars.
I tell you what, that's a real tangled web, though. You know, that's a real commitment.
Well, this is the thing. If they had given up after like 15 of them and just walked away with like, 300 grand, I imagine they would have been set for life.
If you'd ever just come home once in a while.
Well, how can you come home when you have 19 husbands? Right? Like, she wasn't going home and looking at the viaduct. She was going to other towns and scamming other lonely elderly youths out of their dough.
I tell you what, that's a lot of effort, man.
Yeah?
That's a. You want that kind of job? You want 19 wives that you have to see every month?
For 300 grand? I think I could be talked into it.
Oh, brother.
I mean,
You'd be nothing but a shrunken head within a couple weeks.
I admire the grift is what I'm saying. And I like the hustle. That's all I'm saying.
I'm just saying you could find a more leisurely way to make $1.
Well, I'd argue I have.
Well, then there you go. See? Who's the smart one?
Number
4.
General Motors partnering up with Lockheed Martin to make ultimate off-road self-driving electric vehicles designed to be driven on the moon. Project is still in its early stages, and they don't have any money for it. But the goal is to design light yet rugged vehicles that will travel farther and faster than the lunar rovers that carried our astronauts back in the early 70s.
All right, so you can have one of those on Earth, but neither of those two companies have any capital for the whole idea?
They really would like money from NASA before they throw any more money into it. The rovers that we used for Apollo 15, 16, and 17, they couldn't go any more than 4.5 miles away from where their lander was. That was something that GM helped design as well. I don't know that I would have the courage as an astronaut on the moon to drive 4.5 miles away from where you landed.
Yeah, when you get stranded.
Oh, and then you get a problem with your lunar rover. I guess I gotta hoof it to
I'm
the
just
lunar
gonna I'm just
lander?
gonna drive around in a circle here, just kind of right by.
There's no reason to be a jerk about it.
No.
If I can't see where the lander is,
I tend to think
I've gone too far.
I tend to think everything looks the same up here.
Right? I get it. A bunch of dirt, a bunch of space dust. Terrific. NASA last year put out a call for industry ideas. They wanted ideas on lunar rovers. The idea is that we're going to be returning astronauts to the moon by the year 2024. That was the deadline that was set. That seems pretty unlikely because check my math, that's 3 years away. We're going to be putting people on the moon in 2024?
To the moon.
Their initial rover's designed to carry 2 astronauts at a time. But then they say, eventually more and more astronauts. So you get like a lunar bus up there.
No hitchhiking.
Don't pick up hitchhikers.
You can't hitchhike on the moon.
That'd be hilarious.
You ridiculous.
If someone put a sign on the moon that said, "Do not pick up hitchhikers."
Or this beach closed. That's why you're willing to go to space, just so you can close their beaches.
The idea of the rovers being able to operate autonomously, that way the astronauts will be kept away from dangerous spots like, the big craters. If you just tell the rover, okay, I need to get from here to here, there's no chance of you, falling into a hole in the moon.
What are you, the water boys?
And it says if the car could drive itself, that would improve efficiency. Astronauts could focus on collecting
drive
rocks.
For 4 miles?
They could collect rocks, and then the rover would kind of follow behind them. Toyota, a couple years ago, partnered with the Japanese Space Agency to build a pressurized electric-powered lunar rover for astronauts. They're calling that one the Lunar Cruiser.
Not walking in front of a car that's got its own mind. On the moon?
Doesn't seem like the best idea.
I have been on pins and needles since I got up here. I can't relax.
Now the Lockheed Martin will be unpressurized, so you will have to wear your spacesuit at all times when you're on it. The Japanese one, it's like you're driving around in a car.
I was planning on wearing it.
That's not a problem at all. That was always going to be the plan. I was always going to wear a spacesuit.
Yeah, just to guard against the moonshine.
So they'll have the pressurized ones and the unpressurized ones.
Well, I know you always go for the pressurized one.
Well, if I'm given an option on the moon, I would much rather be in just a car that I can drive around in, but do not unroll the windows. I wouldn't even make that an option. Don't have a way for them to roll down the windows. Because that would suck it in your eyeballs.
But
Just
it's nice to have that
slurped right out of
feature
your
in case
face.
in case there's if you have
Space gas?
No, if you have someone brings you some sort of space meal at
the drive-thru?
At the drive-thru or the drive-in.
I'm going to get a lunar burger. Uh-huh. Yeah, it's fantastic.
From that moon face girl over there.
Five.
Number 5.
Story of a guy who, bit of a hoarder. This is down in Australia. He had a dead body at his house.
Human remains?
Human mummified remains found inside this guy's house. He was shot dead 15 years during a break and enter. So this guy's a hoarder, right?
And he shot a guy 15
And
years ago.
some guy tried to break into the hoarder's place. So he shot and killed him and then decided, well,
I'm going to hoard you too.
you are something else that I'll keep. Yes. Shane Snellman went missing 15 years ago.
Where's Shane?
Shane!
Come back, Shane!
Broke into Bruce Roberts' place in 2002.
That was not a good idea.
No! Roberts is described by his family as an extreme hoarder, a loner, and socially awkward. When that's what your family is saying about you, I can't imagine what the neighbors have to say. He kept Shane Snellman's body hidden in a bedroom for 15 years. They found more than 70 bottles of air freshener around the body
Oh, yeah. This is a good place for a stick-up.
in what was described as a conscious effort to mask the smell. Yeah, a decomposing body is something else. That's not a smell that you forget. I don't know that Febreze can really...
It does. It helps.
I don't know. It would. 70 bottles of it? Well, they found this guy's remains. The
Yeah, when
family of Shane, by the way, wants you to know that Shane was a very loving man and would do anything for anyone. He didn't deserve what he got. Well, I mean, you broke and entered into
He
somebody's
did.
house.
And as soon as you break and enter, and you notice that the whole place looks like a spider's web, you know that wasn't a good move.
They only found this dead body because
Yeah, how?
the hoarder died.
Ah,
So then they went into his house to try and clean it up. And in the weeks surrounding his death, because there was a large buildup of uncollected mail outside the front of his house.
didn't have a ton of visitors. Huh?
Yeah, and neighbors started to wonder, gosh, that seems like an awful lot of mail at his front door.
Even for him.
Right. And normally he hoards stuff on the inside, not there at the door.
Yeah, he's not messy on the outside.
Emergency services broke down the front door and maneuvered through high piles of garbage to find
Shane.
Mr. Roberts first, collapsed over a heater. And then they hired cleaners to clear the estate, and they discovered his body.
Let's bring in some professionals.
Mr. Snellman had 66 cents to his name just before his death, but a generous guy who would do anything for anyone.
A little too generous, apparently. Far too generous.
Had a history of petty crime and was acquitted of murdering a homeless man when he was 15 years old.
He would
Great guy, though.
Great guy. He'd rob people 66 cents at a time.
Well, how are they able to put together that the one guy broke into the other dude's home? You've got two dead guys.
How do you know it's a break-in?
Well, I mean, yeah. What signs are left when it happened all those years ago? How are they able to figure that out? Well, they were. And you get I don't know. If it's me, I would go ahead and level that house. I don't know that anyone needs to live in that house.
I'm going to need a discount.
I need some sort of
incentive.
Little something taken off the top here.
Yeah, please.
We're going to have to bring
Can
this
you
thing to
waive the
ground.
deposit at least?
Is it all over, Rock?
I guess so.
I didn't think it'd be like this.
Well, we'll have more of these podcasts for you to enjoy. Thanks for downloading, subscribing, leaving reviews, and, actually listening to the darn thing. Until we get a chance to do it again, we want to say thanks to Nature's Treatment of Illinois.
Yeah, their goal is to fully understand their clients' needs physically, mentally, and emotionally because they know it's not easy to live with a chronic illness. Their experienced wellness consultants will sit down with you and discuss what options work best to make you feel more comfortable. Frequently asked questions are answered, and you can find those if you go to their website, which is ntillinois.com.
Until next time, hang loose, kooks.
And you stay classy and safe, Quad City.
Come on, Quad Cities, represent. This is for the Quad Cities record spot. Davenport, yeah, we keeping it locked. Rock Island, come on, and it just don't stop. East Moline, yeah, they keeping it hot.
Quitting time, yabba!